say grief is a ghost that never leaves your house. For me, it lives in apartment 4B. My name is David. Exactly 1 year ago, my life was shattered into a million pieces. My 7-year-old daughter, Lily, was playing in the living room. She walked into her bedroom to grab her favorite doll, a small thing with button eyes. She closed the door behind her. I heard her humming a song, and then the humming stopped. I waited for 5 minutes, then 10. When I finally opened that door, the room was empty. The windows were locked from the inside. The floorboards were solid. There were no secret doors, no struggle, no sound. Just a room full of toys and a father whose heart stopped beating that very second. The police spent months tearing my life apart. They looked at me with suspicion, then pity, and finally, they just looked away. They called it a cold case. But how can a case be cold when the bed is still made and the strawberry shampoo still lingers in the hallway? Every single night for 365 days, I sat in that empty room, staring at the walls, begging for a sign. Tonight was the anniversary. The clock struck midnight, marking exactly 1 year since she vanished. I was sitting on the floor of her room, clutching that same doll with the button eyes. And that's when it happened, a sound that shouldn't exist. It was a tinny, electronic trill. I looked toward the corner. Lily's toy phone, a cheap, pink plastic thing, was glowing. I felt a cold shiver crawl up my spine because I knew for a fact that I had taken the batteries out of that toy months ago. It was empty. It was dead. And yet, it was ringing. My hand was shaking so hard I could barely reach for it. I picked up the receiver. At first, there was only static. The kind of sound you hear when the wind howls through a graveyard. I whispered her name. Lily. Voice came through. It was faint, distorted, like it was coming from miles underground. Daddy, it's so cold. It's so dark under the floor. The line went dead. I didn't think. I didn't call the police. I ran to the kitchen, grabbed a heavy hammer, and came back to her room. I started screaming her name as I swung that hammer into the beautiful hardwood, for I had polished just days before. I ripped up the planks, with splintering under my fingers, my nails bleeding. But I didn't find a body. I found a space, a narrow, hollow gap between the floor and the concrete foundation. And resting there, covered in 30 years of dust, was a small, leather-bound diary. It didn't belong to Lily. The dates inside were from 1994. I flipped to the last page, my eyes blurring with tears. There was one sentence written in dark, dried ink. He is behind the glass. He is always watching. I felt the air leave my lungs. Behind the glass, I looked at the large mirror on Lily's wardrobe. I walked toward it, my reflection looking like a ghost. I touched the surface. It felt cold. Too cold. I swung the hammer one more time. The glass shattered, but there wasn't a wall behind it. There was a dark, narrow hallway, a crawl space that ran through the entire length of the building. My flashlight beam cut through the darkness, hitting something small on the floor. It was Lily's hair ribbon. I crawled inside, the smell of damp earth and old metal filling my nose. The tunnel led downward, a steep, hidden staircase built into the very bones of the apartment complex. At the bottom, I found a heavy steel door. I pushed it open. I saw will haunt me until the day I die. It was a room filled with flickering monitors, dozens of them. One showed my kitchen, another showed my bathroom, and the biggest one was pointed directly at the spot on the floor, where I had been sitting every night for a year. Lily was there. She was sitting in a small chair, her face pale, staring at a screen that showed me. Right now, she turned around, her eyes wide with terror. But before I could reach her, I heard a click. The sound of a gun being cocked behind my head. You were always so obsessed with the truth, David, a voice said. It was the building manager, the man who had given me the keys, the man who had comforted me when the police left. But some truths are meant to be watched, not lived. The lights flickered and died. If you are hearing this, I have hidden this recording device near the vent. I don't know if I can get her out. I don't know if we will see the sun again. If you live in apartment 4B, or 4A, or 5C, look at your walls. Listen for the scratching. And for the love of God, never answer a phone that has no batteries.